what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you, man.
All right, what we got?
All right, we got a special one today. It's actually my dad's truck.
Ooh.
So, this is a 79 Dodge Ramcharger. My dad bought brand new. Been garage kept ever since. It has 10,500 miles on it.
Wow.
And he only used this to plow the driveway and, you know, nice summer drives. But
Oh, it's totally him?
that is definitely my dad.
NRA.
So this thing is always out in the snow and the freezing rain and everything like that. So it just, it needs a little love.
And he doesn't know we're doing this, right?
He does not know we're doing this.
All right, so Father's Day surprise. As you know, he did so much work on the carburetor, on the Charger, basically got that thing running.
Oh, it's there. It's definitely there.
I think this is gonna be pretty, like, give me a tour of this thing.
Sure. It is a Snow Commander. This was a package that Dodge offered.
So this came from the factory like that?
Came from the factory, and what that package was the knobby tires, factory Meyer plow, and just kind of a beefed up suspension just to make it plow snow.
And this comes off?
So this actually comes off, yeah, but my dad...
see it here, yeah.
Yeah, he was always afraid this would leak, so he never wanted to take it off, but pretty neat to be able to take this off.
Yeah. Oh my God, look at this interior. What, blue? What?
Yeah, the black on blue, and my dad said it had every option but a headliner and an actual carpet.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't come with, what do we got here? American graffiti.
Yeah, classic.
Dude, we're gonna rock that.
Got some Jackson 5 in there too.
Yeah, yeah, there is no carpet. Look at that. I like it without the carpet.
Yeah.
But there's a is that speaker stock?
Yeah.
Wow, there's some wild speakers in there. Were you in here as a kid?
Oh yeah, so my dad has pictures of me, probably 4 or 5 years old, the same age as my boys, and I would plow the driveway with them all the time. I couldn't wait for it to snow, so we spent a ton of time in here.
This hasn't been repainted?
No repaints. This thing is all original. Tires are original. Besides the carpet, my dad bought that, I think, probably in 1990 and had it, and an exhaust that he bought probably around the same time, just because I think he knew they weren't going to make these parts. So.
With the Ram now outside the garage, you can see it has a ton of spider webs and lots of white marks, but with such incredibly low miles on the truck, it's in really good shape for its age. If you happen to notice as we panned with the camera, the last time it was registered was 2005 based on its license plate sticker. So it's now time for a preservation detail for Tom Sr. With the truck now dropped off at the studio because of the super old dry rotted tires, and we didn't want to drive it on the street because it probably wouldn't be safe, I gently pulled it inside and under the unforgiving lights to really see what we have. And as expected, the paint is in need of some serious polishing and protecting. The chrome is dull and the interior is quite grimy from Senior's mechanic hands. So with that, step one, of course, is a healthy power washing and paint cleaning. Next, I added foam and boost to the foamer and then let the paint soak for a few minutes. Now, this is critical on single stage paints that have been sitting a very long time. The idea is to let the soap do its work to kind of release all of that embedded junk. While the paint was soaking, I focused on the wheels. Now, they were much cleaner after I used Plum and Brute, but because they've been sitting for years, you can see that there's small oxidation that needs to be repainted. I'll deal with the oxidation a little bit later in the preservation. For the engine, I plugged the intake and covered the alternator before applying Frothy. Although I'm gonna lightly power wash it later on as a final rinse, but this is a great way to sort of minimize the water application on carbureted engines. So I use Frothy first, do my cleaning, and then wipe everything down, and then just a light rinse afterwards, just to flush everything out. All right, so check this out. I just got my Drift starter kit in the mail. They are vegan essential oils. They smell great, they look great, and they're gonna be fantastic in this Ramcharger. Let me show you how it works. Drift creates the ultimate air care products for your car and your home using premium essential and fragrance oil blends free of harmful chemicals. They're vegan, cruelty-free, and pet-friendly. Plus, they also come in subscriptions as well. As you know, after a while, nose blindness is a real thing, so changing things up every month or two gives your nose a new scent to enjoy. The starter kit comes with, in my case, a wood block, sun visor clip, and a home scent diffuser. First, attach the metal clip to the visor with the ledge facing downwards. Next, open one side of the bag and make sure the block isn't visibly wet. If so, let it air dry in the bag to avoid getting the scent on the visor. Then clip the magnetic backing onto the visor clip and ensure it's even on both sides. Just for fun, I also plugged in the home scent diffuser in the studio. It lasts up to 30 days, and I promise you, we're gonna need it after this one. To get yours, use code AMMO55 to receive 55% off your first month at drift.co. Now, back to the Ram. With the paint and body now clean, I dried the single stage paint with a damp microfiber towel, hydrate, of course, to minimize scratching, and compressed air.
All right, check this out. I've never seen this in my life. Now, I get super excited about single stage paint. You can see a single stage because this was once white, now it's black, all right? When I'm polishing this, I'm looking up into the scan grips and I can see the very light scratches come out immediately. And when I'm going back and forth, the instant that comes out, I'm done. So I don't really go back and forth and hope and pray. Those lights are really showing me that the instant it comes out, I want to stop because I want to leave as much paint as possible. Now, the second thing is, when I just pulled my pad off, what happens is I got to the end of my working cycle of the compound and the polish. And when you lift the pad off, I always talk about the residue. I've never seen this in 20 years of polishing paint. What the hell is that? This right here, which looks like mouse poop, is not mouse poop. I feel like I just lifted off. If you see these little circles here, I pulled the trigger, then I let go and pulled off. This is just sort of coagulated residue. That's the paint. Oh, look at that. See, I just broke open. That's the paint. And that's the combination of polish kind of mixed in with the paint as well. The point of the story, oh my goodness gracious. The point of the story is, look at that paint. That is absolutely flawless paint. Look at that difference. That's why I get so excited about working on single stage paint. You do have to deal with the residue and have this little funky thing, which I think in another 20 years, I'll never see that again. So make sure we capture that. This car is going to be 100% perfect when I'm done. Show car quality. We're gonna have to get some dents removed at this point because when it's that shiny, you can see everything. And we're gonna leave this orange peel. All this orange peel is factory. So this is period correct, factory perfect. Senior is gonna absolutely love it. More importantly, I think I'm gonna love it when I'm done. This thing's gonna be awesome. Okay, I'm behind the camera right now and I just did half the hood, the front quarter here, and a little bit of the door. And what's happening is, at this point, if you look closely at the light, again, it's much better, no deep scratches, but if I get closer, you can see there's a little bit of fine tick marks there. And I'm blowing out the pad, I'm doing everything I possibly can, and it's still happening. And so what this means is the paint is coming off so much, meaning it's so soft right now that it's filling up the pad. Even though I keep blowing it out and I'm removing the residue, it's overwhelming the pad, which means I need to switch more. So over this car, I'm probably gonna use 6 to 8 pads in general, just because of the amount of residue coming off. You see, I have 2 other used pads here. I really like used pads. I mean, I'll break out some new ones, but I like how soft they are once they're used. Kind of like I always say, used jeans. So I have my bucket. There's nothing in it except the grit guard. I'm gonna take some Revive, pour Revive in there. And then this thing, even though I've blown it out 100 times, you'll start to feel it through the machine. So as you're blowing it out and you'll see like the little circles of white come in here, and meaning you're cleaning it out, the machine will shake a little bit differently. And that tends to mean that the residue is very deep in the foam. And so you can't really get it out. And so after a certain amount of time, I now know that I can do about 3-4 panels before it's time To dunk it in here, I'll put some water, revive, let it sit overnight, and then after I dry it out, it'll look like this. You know, 3, 4, 5 panels. I'll switch, go to the next one, 3, 4, 5 panels, and then of course I'll rotate probably 4 or 5 of them and just keep going in that circle. So again, when you have this crazy amount of soft paint, you're going to be taking so much off that 1, 2, maybe 3 pads, which would be normal for a normal car, is not going to work here. You're going to need to go a lot more like I'm doing right now, probably 6 to 8 pads. Okay, so here are the steps with incredibly soft paint that likely has some type of protection on it. First thing, got the wool pad. I have a bit of polish on there. I'm gonna go from 5, which is where I was before. We'll go back to 5, and all the way down to about 2. So we're gonna go even slower than normal, which is around 3. I'm gonna put my mask on real quick, and I'll show you. This is what we call a mow down technique. It's gonna be very, very fast. Here's the area that I haven't done yet. Put it on. See my arm speed? Okay, so the goal here is just like weed whacking a lawn that's really, really high. So I did it super quick. I wasn't very slow and methodical. I'm just turning and burning here to pick up all the residue. Now you can see all black, and hopefully that ceramic or whatever the heck was on here is...
I waxed that truck 4,000 times, man.
Yeah.
Also in this pad. Remember, it was very slow. Those fibers grip the paint right now and are ripping off all that junk. So we did that. Now go in, quickly wipe it off. And look, the scratches are all gone. We hope that the ceramic or whatever is on there is off, but there's swirls absolutely everywhere. This paint is incredibly soft, so removing the scratches was easy. Now here's the tricky part. Remove your pad, put a clean foam pad on. Now this is the technique that gets a little crazy because we're gonna get very wet here. All right, so now I have the mixture of water and 2 squirts of exfoliate. You give it a big shake and it looks like kind of milky. Spray it down, just enough where it starts to run. So you're starting to run, spray the pad, and now we're gonna go up to speed 5. And this is where it gets a little tricky. I'm gonna let the pad go, and then I'm gonna grab the water again and spray while I'm going. So you want it to skip. Okay, so that's round 1. Now what that's doing is that much water is just like I said before when they're making wheels and they're squirting water into the metal, it's to remove all of that residue. So we just skimmed the surface, and I can tell you already, this is 10 times better than what I was doing. It took me 20 minutes over here to try to go through all these steps. Having that water doesn't allow the pad or the product to continually grip and cut or tick mark really, really, really soft paint like this one here. It's all about managing that residue. Before, this area right here was very, very white. Now, it looks a little whitish on camera because it's wet, but it's significantly better.
So I repeated the same exact steps as needed. Now keep in mind, the hood was super easy, the driver's side door and rear quarter panel required the water method, but the roof didn't. The point I'm making is sometimes each panel requires a little bit of a different approach. Let the paint tell you what it wants, because in this sort of single stage paint preservation kind of mindset, one size definitely does not fit all. I also cleaned up the headlight housing, but the paint is usually very thin here. So if you decide to clean this up, I suggest you keep it to a very light polish and no more, or you're gonna risk burning through the paint. Would just be a huge pain in the butt to kind of figure that whole thing out. So this is the perfect opportunity of knowing when to say when. After preserving the paint, I used flux on the old foam pad to polish up all the bright work, because I'm gonna throw that pad away at the end anyways. It's just too far gone at this point. One of my favorite parts of working on cars from different decades is you can kind of see what was going on in the world at the time the car was being made. So in this case, because this is a utility vehicle made in the 70s, it was actually designed for working. So they used a lot of paint on the interior as well, such as the door panels like this one here. Why waste money on carpets? Just expose the metal and move on with life. So I gave it a quick polish with a 6-inch and then the upper part with a 3-inch as well. With the paint now looking great, it's now time to work on the very bare bones interior, including the world's heaviest spare tire.
I can do it. I got it. That's one crazy spare tire. Oh, luckily, very light.
Now keep in mind, without carpet inside the interior, one, it's very loud, but two, you can just use compressed air. It's your best friend here. There's no carpet to kind of catch all the dirt. Just compressed air, blast it away, and within a minute or two, you have a perfectly clean interior. Once all the heavy dust and dirt has been blown away, I'm using Frothy once again because it's mostly uncarpeted paint or rubber surfaces, perfect for the aerator. Now, I will say it is the very first time I've ever used Frothy on a ceiling. I can only imagine the echoes and the road noise in this tin can as you drive down the road. But again, this is a work truck for work. Sound deadening was not a priority in the 70s. On the greasy door, I used lather and an interior brush for Tom Sr.'s mechanic hands. Clearly, he's been using this car for some time. As you notice, he's super old school, refuses to wear latex gloves to work on cars, and you can obviously see that being reflected in his door handles. I repeated the same exact steps on the rest of the interior because there was a light layer of mold on pretty much everything on the interior from the moisture buildup in the garage. If you notice when we were walking around getting a tour, I saw a dehumidifier in there, so I know that they're trying to keep up with it. It wasn't necessarily bad. It's just because the seats are light blue, it's much harder to notice those white dots versus, let's say, having black seats. For example, when we did that Charger with Tom Sr. a couple of weeks ago, there was the same exact mold in that car as well, but the seat was black, so it was easier to see than, let's say, on light blue. Nonetheless, we removed all of that light mold, so it was refreshed and safe. This rock has been here since the dawn of time. Afterwards, I added mousse moisturizer to all the plastic and vinyl for some UV protection. Bright and early the next day, I re-power washed and soaped everything just because I made such a mess from the water polishing those random panels earlier. So it was easier to use a lubricated, proper wash instead of possibly dry wiping everything and potentially putting scratches in the paint again. Likewise, the exterior windowsills had oxidation I didn't notice after the first wash, so I focused my time here using a brush and, in certain places, 4/0 steel wool very lightly. Then I dried everything thoroughly before applying Reflex Pro 2. In this particular case, with single stage paint that's super soft and has panels that react differently from one to the other, it's best to put a coating on it to act like a sort of makeshift clear coat application from the factory. In other words, this is such finicky paint that I'm trying to mask it with a coating so that the entire truck is a bit more uniform in how it reacts to washing, say waxing or bird poo or whatever may touch the surface in the future. I will say that this was actually one of the more tricky preservations I've had in a very long time. Again, well worth the surprise, and I'm super stoked, but it's very interesting to see cars from the 70s, single stage paint, and how each panel is really different than the other one. That's what makes this really fun. Finally, I cleaned up the windows with Obey, a scrub pad, and a squeegee before moving her over to bay number 2 to remove the wheels and the rotted out tires. Then I lugged them over to Ace before ordering some new shoes from Vredestein so his dad can safely drive his truck on and off road without ancient rubber. I will say I was quite shocked on how small the tires were, yet how heavy and dense and dry rotted they were. I've never seen anything like that. And so you can almost do exercise or lift weights with these things. So just to change the tires alone, I think the ride is going to be much more compliant, much more soft. And then it's just going to feel more powerful because you're not dragging these just ridiculously heavy tires. Never seen that in my life. If you don't know, Vredestein is a European tire manufacturer with over a 110-year history of innovation in design, safety, and all-weather performance.
Tom,
How are you, Larry?
thanks for coming out, man.
All right, man.
Good to see you. So I called you here because we just pulled out a GTI engine. I need you to take a look at it. There's some work that needs to be done there and I need your expertise. But before that, Tom Jr. called me and we have a little surprise for you. I'm super stoked to show you. Do you know anything about this?
No.
Not yet?
No.
All right, so hang tight here. I'm gonna go get it right now.
Okay. That's my truck. Oh, look at it. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Oh my God. That's my Dodge. That's Big Black. Oh my God.
What do you think?
Oh man, Big Black is, oh man, look at that. Holy cow.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh, when did you pick it up? I didn't even miss it.
Well, we did a little surprise. We got it last week. And yeah, Larry did his work on it.
I can't believe it.
Powder coated the wheels, put some new tires on it.
Oh my God, this is unbelievable.
That is some serious single stage paint right there, my man.
Oh man,
Oh, my
it
gosh.
didn't look this good when I bought it. This is crazy, man.
So what do you think? You wanna go for a ride?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
3 sweaty guys and a big tin can.
It is a tin can, man.
Yeah, I bought this truck in 1978 during the height of all the 30-inch snowstorms in New England. Me and my wife used to shovel the driveway. I have like a 600-foot driveway, and it started getting old real fast. So I ordered a truck, and what happened was they dropped it off the car carrier. So in order to make, they said they were going to put a new quarter panel on it and whatnot and what have you, and I says, nah, no dice. So I ordered another truck completely different, and I ordered this truck, and this truck has a lot of options. This truck has a 360, it's got an MP4 45 manual transmission, which is fully synchronized. You can start this guy out in first gear, no problem. And it's got an optional 355, rear axle, which was an option. And it's got a 203 transfer case, which is full-time four-wheel drive. This truck is full-time four-wheel drive. And it really goes in the snow pretty damn good. And, I've had it since brand new. And it's plowed a lot of snow. a lot of snow. And my buddy here used to come with me, my son, and he used to wake me up early in the morning. Dad, it's snowing, let's go get Big Black. And the funny thing about it is, my wife named this car Big Black. Okay? When I told her I was buying a truck, she says, well, there's a whole bunch of different colored ones you can get. She goes, surprise me with the color. So I says, we have to get a black truck. Black is my thing. So anyway, I brought the truck back. And when I brought it back, she goes, I see you bought Big Black. And that's this truck's name, Big Black. And I love this truck. This is my truck. And it's beautiful now. This truck is cleaner than when I bought it.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you guys, thank you so much. What a gift.
This is gonna look so good when it's done. I am so excited. Woo!